I work with Oxfam GB. I'm from the UK, and I care about all sorts of things. It's difficult to answer that in a one sentence, but I think most I care about people recognizing and being able to fully express their potential. I think when I was young, when I was 5 years old, my family moved to New Zealand from England, and I think I recognized very early on that people are quite different, and that excited me. I thought that was fascinating. So I think I've always been interested in the differences between people, but also and then I think just noticing that we all want similar things out of life as well. So maybe it was that kind of very early exposure to people being different, but people also having similar aspirations that kind of triggered an interest in people for me. Yes, yeah. Well, I originally trained as a lawyer, and I worked as a solicitor for about 7 years in the UK, and was feeling pretty bored and joined VSO, Voluntary Service Overseas. It's a UK charity, and I went to work in the Solomon Islands as a local government lawyer for 3 years, and that's when I found out about international development work, and I thought, that sounds like a much more interesting life than being a solicitor. So I then started to work for VSO in Kiribati, which is a very small Pacific Island country, Atoll Islands, and I spent altogether about 6 years in Kiribati working with VSO and with the EC. And it was towards the end of my time in Kiribati that I started to become interested in climate change adaptation, because for very obvious reasons, Kiribati is so affected by climate change, and it became the focus of a lot of early work on climate change adaptation. The big World Bank project was launched while I was living there, and I got involved and learned all about this thing called climate change adaptation, whilst at the same time I was kind of noticing that the place where I was living, the beach was disappearing, and I could no longer get my little canoe out and go paddling in the lagoon because I'd lost about 2 meters of sand from the beach. So there was this very personal kind of connection with change, whilst there was this kind of beginning of understanding around climate change and climate impacts, but also that there's a possibility to do something about climate impacts through climate change adaptation. So that was the kind of the beginning, and as a result of that experience, I went back to university at 40 and studied human ecology, which is about the relationship between natural systems and human systems, and tries to kind of understand what that relationship is and how we can work better between human systems and natural systems and make a better relationship.